All right, you are listening to another episode of Transparency and Merit. My name's Joe. I'm here with Brian, and it's what do we got here? We're talking about Twitter tonight.
Yes, we are talking about Twitter's hate speech policy or hateful conduct.
That's
on
right.
Twitter. And I made a mistake. Yes, I think it was yesterday I made a mistake. I was tweeting out. Someone is mentioning the audio.
What about it?
Audio. Someone is mentioning that the audio here is not that good. I'm just testing our sound limits here, and someone left me a call. But actually, I'm gonna leave them a message and tell them that the show is on just for this one special person. I don't know if I want to tell too many people in Discord, but I've been rather passionate about. I've been rather passionate about what's going on in South Africa because I think that the mainstream media has been kind of covering it up. And in my excitement and in my over-emotion, I looked for memes to put out there. And then I tweeted, because they had hashtags too far left and too far right. And I put out people of European descent not living under racial vendetta or something like that, too far right. And I put a picture of a person's of the hand with a person with a knife on it and like the hammer and sickle communist symbol, and then this white family kind of fleeing into a larger hand of the United States coming into it. And I've been passionate about white South African refugees. And I'm saying if we're going to welcome refugees or people that are persecuted, why not accept white South Africans? Are they not persecuted? It was just also somewhat of a question because for me, I haven't heard any good argument that it is a white supremacist dog whistle. I mean, these are legitimate causes and legitimate concerns. And my concerns have not been addressed, in my opinion. But I made the mistake of when I tweeted my tweet out, it was from a white nationalist website because I just kind of Googled white South African farmers, and I thought it was a good picture and stuff, but I didn't read kind of below that was, a white nationalist website that I think that's where that meme came from. And I'm reading right now. I don't know if the sound is poor. I just wanted to, it might be. I know we're going off topic, but I didn't realize when I tweeted that out that meme was from that, and it said it below there. It was from some white nationalist website, and that was never my intent because I certainly don't believe in white nationalism, but I do believe that anybody can be a racist and anybody can abuse. And the fact that we even talk about this is considered a so-called white supremacist dog whistle. And like I said, there are plenty of topics that should be talked about and shouldn't be taboo. I mean, if what I believe is wrong, prove it. Don't just give me, don't just forbid me from talking about it. And because of that, I think I may have gotten a strike on my Twitter page, and and I don't know how connected Twitter and YouTube and Facebook are.
So basically what happened was you posted a picture. It had some content that you felt fit a narrative of what you were talking about, and then realized that there was a giant link at the bottom of the page that said the picture originated from an Aryan Nation website. Am I correct?
Our white nationalist website. That is correct. And I didn't, you know what? It was a mistake, but I don't know how punished I am because, like I said, basically the left gets away with things that the right could never get away with. And I guess I'm, if we're being transparent, I'm a little bit more conservative, particularly on this issue. But if you look at someone like Sarah Jeong, she could tweet anything she wanted and do it several times and not be punished. Now, I noticed that Candace Owens pretended to be a white person and said the same thing that Sarah Jeong said about white people. She said it about black people, and she was instantly removed. And if you read their policy, they allow for double standards of conduct, which is really, I guess, seems to be really un-American and really kind of unfair that you're allowed to do things and get away with things that other groups are not allowed to. Mm-hmm. And it says, we recognize that if people exercise abuse on Twitter, it jeopardizes the ability to express themselves. Research has shown that groups of people are disproportionately targeted with abuse online. This includes women, people of color, lesbians, gays, bisexuals, transgenders, intersex, asexual individuals, marginalized and historically unrepresented communities. I don't even know what that kind of means. And I'm like, where's your proof? Where's your evidence of this? And why should we just out and out believe you? And there's just a lot of almost, it feels like brain dead individuals who want to be, I guess they want to be, thought of as noble and good, and they're fighting the cause. Because, I've gotten people who, this one guy, but I'm looking at like Antifa and these other groups that are fighting so-called fascism and stopping freedom of speech and freedom of expression, both online and then, like, if you go out into the street and you preach something, they will stop you from doing that as well. They basically say, no platforms for bigots. And it's just, I don't know. It's kind of disappointing and kind of disheartening that we're mainly talking at one another. We're not talking to each other. And it's become kind of, things are more nuanced. They're not necessarily black or white. And like I said, it seems like people are able to, and it seems like the left is more doing this than the right. They're really labeling people. But when they do it, they want to be thought of as nuanced and they want to be understood. But when the right does it, the punishment, they can do a fraction. The right can do a fraction of what the left does. And the right gets automatically punished. But the left doesn't have to, it doesn't have, it doesn't even have to really apologize. When Roseanne did what she did with her tweet and Sarah Jeong did what she did, Sarah Jeong didn't even go on to any apology. She did no interviews. Roseanne Barr was willing to go on like an apology tour and let the audience decide. They automatically fired her and basically blacklisted her for life for what she did. And Sarah Jeong, I hear she's been fired now, but Sarah Jeong went on no apology. You know, she just said she was sorry, but she didn't. And she did several tweets that were anti-white and just, you know, full of vitriolic hate. She didn't have to do anything. She didn't have to go on any. She did no interviews on the subject. She just, you know, wrote and said, you know, like, oh, she was, you know, she did it for, and I forget the reason she gave, but she didn't, you know, like I said, the fact that she didn't go on any interviews or anything, and she just automatically got continued to get hired for her behavior, I thought was pretty pathetic, and it seems very unfair. And I don't know how many people in this country and how many people throughout the Western world believe this kind of conduct and this type of double standard is fair. You know, do we have a First Amendment or do we not? And I also just recently watched someone talking about fake news, someone working for CNN.
Mm-hmm.
And I forget everything that she was saying. This was one of these TED Talks. And CNN has been known to basically tell YouTube to censor a lot of independent news organizations, and this person was saying how important an independent news thing is. When CNN, many people believe that CNN is responsible for censoring independent news commentators, and the rationale with this is who are legitimate sources and this and that. But CNN has been wrong quite a few times on things.
I think their main point is to put people at opposition with the other, you know, whatever Fox and the other news agencies are reporting. CNN is there to strictly to put points that are at odds with those other news outlets, and just to further the agenda that much more. And I think what happens in between there is all of them are just making just incredibly bad decisions with the news stories.
But CNN, you know, originally CNN came out is something. CNN at one time came out originally as it didn't come out as different than Fox, because they have MSNBC, but it's become the same. The news media today seems to be racked with what I see as activist journalists, and they have an agenda, and it's like, guys, I mean, it just seems that way, and it seems like. And then any form of independent news, that's any independent creator that is critical of that, they'll shut down, and they'll shut down hard. And a lot of these activist journalists are major into censorship, and they're playing two sides, because they rail against Trump saying fake news, but then they go in and they go into, I believe, a lot of these Google and YouTube, and they tell the head of these companies to, hey, these people, you know, the speech that these people are giving is either they're accusing them of fake news, and that you have to shut them down.
Okay. I think that's a good point.
It's like, and these are large, you know, like I said, these are large, big news corporations that are acting. You know, that they accuse Trump of being a demagogue and being against the free press, but they're doing the same thing. They're the only ones that can give news. So and it's so sneaky and so demagoguery. You know, it's such demagoguery, and it's so sneaky.